All right, and we're off. Hey everyone, it is Monday the 21st. Glad you guys are with us. Our Coaches Opt for Change community. If you are new to our organization, we're adding lots of new coaches. We welcome you and just want you to know we come together on Monday nights for a time of community, for you can see what you're a part of, be with other like-minded people, and for some training and inspiration. We start every meeting at 7:28 with some inspiration, just as people are signing in, and found a great article today that Larry's going to share on, which is a topic that is very important to us and very important for the growth of your business.
Well, great. Well, good evening, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the 3 parts of personal development. So much of our Monday night calls are about personal development and helping people grow their business. But we all know if we're not growing, our business usually doesn't grow. So Dee had identified this article from Jim Rohn. It was published back in July 2018. And we're also going to put this in the coaches group. So again, you guys can read up on the entire article. I'm just going to read the first part of it just to kind of, just to give you a flavor for it. And again, finish it up at your convenience. So let me start. Again, this is from Jim Rohn. One day, my mentor, Mr. Earl Schoaf, said to me, Jim, if you want to be wealthy and happy, learn this lesson well. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. I must admit that this was the most challenging assignment of all. This business of personal development lasts a lifetime. You see, what you become is far more important than what you get. The important question to ask on the job is not, what am I getting? Instead, you should ask, what am I becoming? What you become directly influences what you get. Think of it this way. Most of what you have today, you have attracted by becoming the person you are today. I've also found that income rarely exceeds personal development. Sometimes income takes a luck jump, but unless you learn to handle the responsibilities that come with it, it will usually shrink back to the amount you can handle. It's hard to keep that which has not been obtained through personal development. So here's the great axiom of life. To have more than you've got, become more than you are. The marketplace is a demanding place. There is plenty of opportunity, but you've got to get ready for it and prepare for it. We've got to spend a portion of this year getting ready for next year, and we've got to spend a portion of this decade getting ready for the next decade. Hopefully, the reason why you're here hopefully the reason why we're here looking well, doing fairly well, is because we spent a portion of the last decade getting ready for this decade. So a big share of life is spent getting ready, getting prepared, and part of it is the development of skills. I've got a good key phrase for you to start with in developing skills that make for success in the marketplace. First, it starts with personal development, self-improvement, making measurable progress. Personal development is a push, it's a struggle, it's a challenge. There wouldn't be any winning without a challenge. That's what life is all about. It's the struggle and the challenge to develop ourselves and our skills to see what we can create in the way of value in the marketplace. Life is all about creating skills and value and taking those skills and value to the marketplace and what it will return for you. Now, it also has a social part, a spiritual part, as well as a physical part. And we're going to talk about some of those parts. New habits don't come easy, but they can be developed. Sometimes when you develop a lot of momentum in one direction, it's not that easy to change, but it is possible. It isn't easy, but it's possible. Somebody once said success is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. You've just got to read the books, learn the skills, put yourself through the paces, do the mental push-ups, and get ready yourself. Inspiration is fine, but inspiration must lead to discipline. It's one thing to be motivated, but it's another thing to be motivated sufficiently to take the classes, do the reading, do the repetition, go through it over and over until it becomes a part of you. And those are challenges. They're not easy, but they're challenges that if you win and develop and grow, that's what determines your place, your return, your equity, the worth you get from the marketplace. So again, he breaks down in the rest of this article the spiritual, physical, and mental about it. And, we're going to post it out there. I hope you got something out of that as far as, again, personal growth. I think it's a big part of what we do every week, every day. So.
Absolutely. My favorite line out of that was, it's about who you're becoming. And my 2 tips for personal development would be that to read 10 pages a day is what Dan Bell says. Read 10 pages a day from a leadership, a business book, something that's going to help you start to think differently. But one time when I was in my personal development coaching, I was looking to strive to get to my next level, and I was being a little defensive, I guess. And I said, well, that's not my style. Like, this is what I do. This is what has always worked for me. I do this, I do this, I do this. I'm consistent. And he said, well, that's what got you this far, but it's not going to take you where you need to go. So yeah, it's not always easy, but definitely it's in the growth. So tonight we're going to talk about, we're continuing our fundamental skills training, and we're going to jump to that in just a minute. But I just want to let you know of 2 things. Tonight we're talking about starting new coaches. So it's fundamental skill number 5 on startup of new coaches. But on Thursday night this week at 8 o'clock, Meg posted about it, Meg Johnson, but she and I are going to lead a special training for the organization on how to coach coaches. So we were really glad that this is tonight on how to launch the coach successfully. But then on Thursday night, it's going to be more about the ongoing process and how do you awaken coaches and help them go, and how do you help them monitor their business in order to achieve the best that they can do. So Thursday night at 8 o'clock, just want to make sure everybody saw that. You'll get an email from us right after this meeting with the link and everything for that. And then we just got an announcement today that Dr. A is going to do a life book training. I mean, how awesome for us to actually learn from the man who wrote the life book, ourselves and our clients. They're going to talk about that on his leadership call right after this at 8 o'clock. But it starts this week, and we posted about that in the client group and the coach group.
That's challenging for sure, right there.
Yeah, that's some
learning
personal
from
development.
from the man.
So we've been talking, you guys. Dan Bell keeps reminding us that our business is simple, and that there's 6 fundamental skills. And over the past few weeks, we've been going over those basics, which is identify who you're going to speak to how to approach them, how to share with them, how to follow up, how to start up new clients. And tonight we're going to talk about how to start up coaches. So glad that you're here. I think what I hear the most from coaches as they're growing their business is hesitation and cautiousness around bringing on a coach, that whether or not we know how to do it and how to do it effectively. So someone on our team who is just really, really stellar in this area is Integrated National Director Lori Cole. Lori really has a great style and a way of connecting with people, identifying what they want, and helping them get off to a great start. I think really, I shared with her the other day, like every coach on Lori's team is actively engaged and moving forward. So we're going to let Lori spend the next few minutes with us, kind of sharing her takeaways and her personal experience with coaching and launching new coaches. So Lori, take it away.
Hey guys, it's so good to see you. Pardon my background. I'm actually living the integrated life tonight. I'm in Florida, so somebody had to do it. You know, I stepped out of the classroom and I had to go to the beach. So anyway, I Dee, thanks so much for yeah, Carol, it's a rough life, isn't it? Hey, thanks for asking me, you guys. One of the things that's been on my heart, and you guys, this has been a process for me. I've been a coach for 4.5 years, so I don't know that there was like this magic button that I pressed that caused me to grow like this. But one of the things that, as I was listening to Dan Bell's presentation and started thinking about, is I believe that at the beginning, I made coaching much harder than it had to be. I overcomplicated who would be a good coach. I offered it to everyone, but who did I really think I could see? And I was working full time, and I'm a fitness instructor as well. So one of the things that I did was I totally turned loose of that. And when you turn loose of it and you recognize that what we do is a gift for everyone, and that because it's not a competition, but what happens is that I'm linking arms with people that I never would have met had I not become a health coach and offered health coaching to my clients and to people around me. And once I turned loose of that control, my business has exploded. I have been just really faithful in meeting with Dee and having conversations about my goals. And I also think that that's another really important thing to do when you're kind of identifying and helping new coaches is she found out what I wanted. In my very first call with her, she said, what do you want to do with this health coaching thing? And I said, I want to get out of the classroom. And it took 4.5 years, and we worked our tails off, and I'm out of the classroom. And it wasn't beautiful or perfect. And I think sometimes if my life isn't packaged in a little perfect box, I feel like I failed. But there's so much beauty in the journey. And as I made that commitment to start growing my business, it wasn't always a straight path. But I started offering the health coaching to every client, started really honing in on people that had a heart for our program and that had a heart for the people around them and saw the possibilities of transformation. And those are the people I pursued. And I will tell you that in starting this new tips program that we've started, where we're asking y'all or other people to go to your business leaders, my team has grown like wildfire. And it's not, Dee does have the magic sauce, don't get me wrong, but it's not just because she does. She's saying the same things that I'm saying, but they just needed to hear it from someone else. So I encourage you to use your business leaders, because we're not going to say, we're going to edify you. We're going to build you up. We're going to make sure, and then we're going to validate everything that you've been saying. So when I onboard a coach, I say this, hey, this is how you order your coaching program. Make a list of everybody that you can think about, and let's go ahead and within a couple of days, this is a weekend, let's go for it. And I will run as hard as my new coach will run. I dedicate if it's a weekend, my whole weekend is for their availability. I literally drop everything to help them go as hard as they want to go. And so I think the key is to getting them into action instead of overwhelming them with details. When you start sending them trainings, I mean, it's an hour here, an hour there, that feels really big. So what I do is I train as I go, and we run hard. We do lots of calls together until I feel like that they're ready. And then we do a reflection. So I'll listen to a call, and then I'll say, well, how did you feel about that? Let's talk about that. And usually people know well, I could have done this, I could have done that. And I'm like, yeah, that's so great. You got it. That's exactly right. And so one of the things that I think is important with new coaches is not to bog them down with details, but just to simply go for it. People are going to learn what they need to know as they need to know it. And that's why we're here, so we can guide them through that. So I think it's important. What do they want? And how do we start to help them see that what they want is possible? You guys, I never dreamed 5 years ago that I would be out of the classroom. I literally thought, well, I have that dream, but I'm going to be in the classroom. I'm in middle school classroom forever and ever. And it's just one step at a time. I was sitting at a conference in Orlando, a leadership conference with Julie Apple Walker, and she and I were sitting there. We were just talking. Fibbick seemed so far for me. And it was, you guys, for me, Fibbick was a long stretch of the road. It was a very long stretch. And I said to Julie, I said, I just don't know what's going on, how to build coaches. I don't know what I'm doing. She goes, you need to get out of your way. And once you step back and you stop, we aren't the giver of all things. We just offer. And then as we love on people, meet them where they are and build. And you're always like, to me, I have some coaches who are doing a little bit and some coaches who are doing a lot. And wherever they are is where I am. Because there's no judgment. There's no condemnation for me. It's just where you are. That's where I will love you. And I so think that through much prayer and in doing those things that my business has just gotten blessed. I think that we're all here for a reason. We lead by example. You know, I used to be involved in another business years and years ago, like my children were very young. And the saying was, those who train remain. And I think this is what this family time is about. We bring our new coaches to this community time because we're here this is like a Monday night pep rally for us. And so as I walk this journey in onboarding new coaches, I want them to be involved in the family, because as soon as we start recognizing, you know, for those of you who have gone to convention or conferences, there's nothing more beautiful than seeing people. You're like, oh, Zena, we never met in real life until we went to a conference. And you're like, it's like you know them. So I think that Dan hit the nail on the head when he said that, you know, get your coach in action, make a list, go for it. Don't overcomplicate it with training, lead by example. Because coaching truly has been for me the movement that changed the trajectory of my entire career.
You're going to watch TV? I'll be back.
And so when we start seeing that you have the potential to change the trajectory of your career by just stepping into coaching, I mean, it's a beautiful gift that we have to offer. So as I step away from tonight, one of the things I want to encourage you, and Dee and I have this conversation every month. Are you having fun? Is what you're doing manageable? Are you showing up and having fun? And are you loving on people where they are? And when you can answer that, the stamp on that is a yes, then you've got it, guys. So thanks so much, Dee, for inviting me to speak. I hope that that's valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys, if you have questions, you can start lining them up in the chat, and Lori and I can answer them towards the end, and Larry, and or we can pop off the microphone. That's one thing we do want to start doing, is allowing for some time for some questions and some interaction, because we know that very often you might come to these calls wanting to know something specific. But I think I agree with you, Lori, so much of what you said, and Julie's advice was great, like just get out of your own way. One of the things that Dan says, if you had a chance to watch his training, was, do you think coaching is complicated? Because whatever we're thinking is what we're projecting to other people. And Ron Gals, one of our mentors, used to just say, keep it simple. Keep it simple. So what you're thinking, also how big are you seeing the business? How big is your vision? Because whatever, like Lori said, they're watching you. So whatever you're doing, more, Dan said in it, more is caught than is taught. So they're going to be watching and listening and catching on to your vision. If you're attending these calls, they'll likely be at these calls, etc. But Dan really talked about that when you sponsor a new health coach, that they're really not a new health coach until they're helping somebody get healthy. So our primary role is to help them with what he calls business building activities. And the first two business activities are exactly what you guys we were going over: identify and approach. So what Lori said, or have them make their list, their immediate people that have asked them about the program, the people that they would like to help, the people that they want to approach. Always the best way. You work with them on their story. Okay, here's what you're going to say when you call them. Here's how you're going to invite them to a three-way call. And then you're going to do the three-way calls with them, hopefully helping them to acquire their first 5 clients. And Dan talked about the fact that, with that call, you do it for them. And then, then you debrief, you set it up, you do it together, then you debrief, and then you talk about what's next. What's next for the person you talk to? And then who are we talking to next? It's that simple, that you guys were just teaching them what you guys already do so well, which is client acquisition and coach acquisition and support. So I thought that was good, but he said, get them into action immediately. And then, invite them to events. Like if you have a local event, invite them to calls like this so that they can start to get the bigger picture. And the two questions are, who are we going to talk to? And who are we going to invite to a call? That's how simple it is to start up a new coach. When, like Lori said, you teach them as they need to know. Person says yes, that's when it's time to teach them how to sign up place an order. That's when it's time, all the steps. Okay, here's the text that you send them. Okay, here's the next thing. So, so that's the simplicity of the startup of a coach. Want to open it up now. We've got about 10 minutes just to address what you guys want to know. And if you popped a question in the chat, let me know. You can just pop off mute, whoever wants to go first. Yes.
Hey, it's Katie.
Hey.
I have no problem approaching people about coaching. But my biggest thing is I had like 5 last month that I were convinced were going to come on. And I felt really, really natural with it, the way I would talk to them. But every one of them, it's the posting their story that's holding them back. Every single one of them. They don't like, one won't celebrate anything. She won't do a tips call with me. She says, this is just my own personal thing. I don't want it. She's not even on, she got off the Facebook group, but she's having amazing results. And the others, they're on Eat Live every day. They're awesome. They're coaching other people, unofficially. And they're doing all the great things. And so I've walked them through with Julie kind of how to do a social media post and things, but they are just, they just can't do it. And so I just told them, I said, that's fine. It's not, just don't say no. Just give me that and just think about it and we can work on it. But are there any tips for that?
I would like to speak into that a little bit, Katie, because I understand where you are. And one of the things I go back to is just how vulnerable I personally felt when I did my first little before and after picture. And I'm like you, I have some people that I've taken to Dee that Dee's like, can you do a simple Facebook post if we give you the verbiage? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. Or whatever. And then they either don't follow through or whatever. And you know what? My recommendation is to love them where they are and I kind of continue looking. They're not quite ready. That's not a no. It's just it's a not yet. And I also think that it's important when they put that out there that we're actively involved in how to field those responses. Because as we all know, some people are going to message you and they're going to say, what are you doing? Oh, let's get on the phone. Okay, what are you doing? Right. And so we want to always teach them how to, it's not like we're a secret, but we just really do want to know more. What program really does fit? And so I think to answer that is they're not quite ready. So just to keep looking for the next person, do your next celebration call with your coach and see how ready they are. Because just because like Dee asked me to become a coach and that came out in our initial health assessment, I think pretty close, but some people just really aren't. But the people that I've waited on because I saw great potential in are some of my greatest coaches. And so if I could give you that piece of advice, just to keep tilling that soil, to say to them, hey, Katie, we had a great conversation tonight. Here's what I heard you say. I heard you use the words that you made a choice and you weren't on a diet. I heard you talk about your non-scale victories. That's coach talk right there. And so when you're continuing to sow into those coaching seeds of things that you see, it's going to take root. I just think it's just not quite there yet.
Okay, thanks.
And I think that just like I think I saw a comment about sometimes finding the time for it or stepping out of the comfort zone. Katie, that's a great example of personal growth, right? That we're asking somebody to step out of their comfort zone So the one thing we didn't talk about, I meant to actually start with this, is that remember that everything that we do, whether it's for ourselves as coaches or bringing on a coach, 3 things that drive our business are mindset, motivation, mindset, and then skills. And it's the why, and the why are they doing this? Why would they want to do this? Why would they want to get out of the comfort zone? We always have to be leading with that. And I think if we jump too much to the how, we freak them out. We can freak them out. So more often I'll say, like, let's come on. And then I'll get it, like, those, well, how will I find clients? And I'll say, well, that's the number 1 question we get. And that's what we help you with. So, it sounds like this is going to fit the need of helping you pay for your kids' college education. Let's get started, and let's just start the road. And then once they, say yes, get the coach kit ordered, then we'll start the process of moving that. But we might just be getting a little much, maybe, I don't know, I haven't heard the conversations, but maybe getting into the how a little too quick. And it's fear. It's nothing but fear that sets up. Good. I think somebody asked if we had documents, and somebody's sharing there the resources for it. There is also in the file section of Coaches Opt for Change, there's a new coach checklist through Optavia about just, adding them to the Facebook groups and that sort of thing. But your real role, all you need to really be doing at this point is just helping them identify their list and figuring out and bringing them to those 3-way calls. Someone said, I don't remember which coach stated quite a few people without being on Facebook much at first. Yeah, it's absolutely not required, Elaine. The ways that we build this business is sharing with people directly, and think about it, prior to Facebook and social media, that's how businesses were built in Optavia, was reaching to people that you knew and that just like Dan taught us in the approach of, hey, I've got this great program. I don't know if you'd be interested or not, but I wanted to share with you what I'm doing. Or I've got this great business opportunity. I know you've been looking for something. I'm just curious if you might want to do it. So making your list, actually, that's where I start with coaches, because I feel like working through the people that have maybe asked you about the program, or people you care about, are usually people that you're comfortable with. And that's where we would start before, work that. And then the next phase can be then the Facebook post.
Yeah, if I can just share too, Facebook is your storefront, if you think about it. People drive by on the street and they say, oh, there's Dee and she's a health coach, right? It's important to have that. It's important to have that presence out there. If you don't have it, that's okay. But again, people see what you're about. And it's so important, because so many times people will be out and about and they'll say, yeah, I've got a problem. I really got to get in shape. And somebody will just remember that, oh, I just saw Dee's page. Not that they even looked at Dee's page to see what was on there, but it reminds them, oh yeah, Dee's all about health and lifestyle. So it's important to have that out there. It's just another tool. But we say it this way: you can't just post on Facebook and hope people are just going to call you up. Right? You have to work at contacting people, because if you don't, it's like throwing a net out there and hoping the fish will jump into your net. So you really do. It's just a tool to use. So great question.
2 questions I see. Can you be a successful coach if you haven't gone through the program? The first thing is to have a heart to help other people. We personally bring on a lot of coaches. We approach a lot of people about the business of Optavia. So a lot of people that have not been on program yet. And what I encourage everyone is that I want them to experience the program so that they see the box that comes to their clients, so they can taste the food, they can experience fat burn. So it can be done simultaneously. We can start their journey as a health coach. That's what I did. I ordered my coach kit and my program at the same time. But we do want them to walk the walk, just because it's going to help them be more effective, and actually they'll be stronger believers because they understand it. And let's see, will the training on Thursday address how to go back and apply these lessons to coaches that I haven't started out well? Sienna, that's probably a personal conversation with your mentorship team on how to go back and readdress. It's probably going to come back with them on starting, getting back to what do they want? Why did they order their health coach kit, and what did they hope to achieve from coaching? And then, would they like a do-over? Would they like to start again? And probably, we can work together to see, with each situation. But yeah, there's no shame in going back for redos. All right. let's see, and if they need to gain weight, that's a unique situation. No, I think that would probably be, Jordan, maybe that they would do like a 3 and 3 program just to experience the fuelings with it. All right, well, we are at 7:58. If there's any last minute questions, you can pop them in there. Otherwise, I want to thank Lori for your wisdom, your input, your heart, just kind of showing us the simplicity of when you kind of just let that down and let it flow, what happened. So thank you for that. Thank you guys for your input here. Again, you'll want to hop over to Dr. A's call to find out. We know the more integrated we can help a client become, the more likely they are to become a coach and really see the possibility within Optavia and themselves. So being on Dr. A's call and learning more about how we can plug them into his live training. And then we'll see you guys Thursday, where we'll do this deeper dive into coaching coaches. So, all right. Thanks, you guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Have a good night. Love you guys. Bye.